Can an atheist be a moral person? In a recent video, I talked about the biggest problem atheists face, and I got many comments on that video. Repeatedly, my commenters said, an atheist can be just as moral as anyone else and often practice a superior morality. It is ridiculous to say Christians are more moral than atheists. And as I replied to those comments from atheists, I said, basically, I agree. However, they misunderstood my central point. I was not arguing that atheists were inferior morally to Christians or anyone else, or that they had no source for their morality, or that they needed another source. I was arguing that atheists get their morality from a source outside atheism. And in this video, I want to expand on that point. Western culture seems to have the bulk of atheists. I realize that sociologists of religion list China with the largest number of non-believers, but I've spent enough time in China to know that the Chinese are very religious. Traditional folk religions are very powerful. So the West has the atheists. And if the comments on my last video are any indication, they are adamant that they are just as moral as anyone else. And I tend to agree with them, but their morals do not come from atheism. They argue that their morals emerge from various sources. One commenter said, quote, all atheists have a morality, a system of goals and values to which they align their actions. These systems can be very individual and usually agree little with Dr. Mitchell's, end quote. But it's not true that they don't align with Dr. Mitchell's. They often do. Often an atheist's morality aligns with mine. And they need to ask the question, why is that? Another said, quote, I am the sole arbiter of my moral assessments. I am the authority on which intentions, decisions, and actions are morally appropriate from those morally inappropriate. I and I alone determine my morality. Quote, I do not agree. Your morality does not emerge from yourself. Why don't you believe in burning widows, or exposing unwanted babies, or dispatching the handicapped when they are born, or human trafficking? Many have believed in those things. You don't, because your assumptions arise out of Western Christian culture. Here's another, quote, I base my morality on what does the most good and the least harm. Using a standard of well-being, I can objectively assess if my actions fit my standard, end quote. How do you define well-being? I am suggesting that your definition arises out of Christian culture. There were a number of other excellent comments, and I thank everyone who contributed. I am attempting to show that many of our moral ideas and our most important ideas come exclusively from the Bible, and we would not hold them if they had not been stated in the Bible and encouraged by Christian teaching down through the centuries. Many have argued that the Bible contains ideas that are repulsive to modern Westerners. I don't deny that, but that's a question for another day. What I am interested in at this point are the modern values that do derive from that derided book, the Bible. The claim that secular countries are atheistic countries is an error. Those secular countries are thoroughly Christian in heritage and only recently secular. I have a video that I will link below in which I argue that. Let me take just one idea, the sanctity of life. A few weeks ago, I made a video entitled The Most Revolutionary Idea in History. I've linked it below. It took many centuries to fold this idea into our culture, but it's fixed there now. We believe in the worth and value of all human beings. None of my atheist commentators would deny this is so far as I know. If someone is sick and weak, you believe in caring for them. Every time you see a parking lot for the disabled, you are reminded of the value we put on all humans. You do not believe in liquidating the elderly, at least not against their will. You believe all human beings have equal worth and value no matter what color they are, or what gender, or whether they are rich or poor. You believe in caring for the sick and infirm, whether they have the ability to pay for their care or not. You believe in the worth and value of women, and that a woman's partner should be faithful to her. All these are powerful results of the Christian teaching on the sanctity of life and on the value of women. And people do not hold these values unless exposed to biblical teaching. I've had many atheist friends and colleagues over the years, and I never view any of them as morally inferior to myself. I just thank God for His ministry to their souls and that He has built the greatest culture in human history and allowed them to live in it. Thank you for your kind attention. May our God bless you this day in a mighty way.